This plant is Aeonium arboreum Atropurpureum, and this is a group of plants that are succulent perennials native to the Canary Islands. And right here I'm just going to show you the typical flower. This is not for this plant, but it's from the plant family, and I'll give you a good look at this brilliant yellow flower that's typical of this plant. So these have a very, very distinctive look to them, as you can see here. You're looking at a mature planting in Carmel, California. This is about 5 feet wide by 3 feet tall. And what's distinctive about this family of plants, the Aeoniums, is the leaf heads that you see here that look like flowers, and they're really just the way the foliage is presented. And at the terminal end of each stem is this very unique floret of leaves. And in this case, you see this nice burgundy color with kind of a green center. And just so you know, there is some dust on this particular plant because it's next to a dusty parking area, and so there's a little haze there that you wouldn't naturally see it have a deeper color. So these they're really used for me in design as a specimen shrub or perennial, and as this one has been used, it's just a standalone. It's like a piece of sculpture almost. This entire plant, I'd say it's probably a grouping of 2 or 3, but these stems can also root, and I believe that's what's happened here. Either they planted a small grouping of them, or the stems, as they kind of laid out, started to root. And you also see branching happening within the plant itself. Most of the Aeoniums send up single branches, but if my understanding is that you can cut these, and below the cut you're going to get 2 to 3 divisions, and that's one of the ways when they're younger to get some fuller appearance to the habit. So the thing about these in design is they're not very cold hardy. Most of these appear to be cold hardy. Their lowest tolerance seems to be down into the high teens or low 20s Fahrenheit. I have some experience with this nearby where I live with a client, and definitely hers weathered through the low 20s this last winter and looked just fine. So I can speak to that in that way, and they certainly are going to like milder temperatures. This is in the middle of summer, you see here. The book says that during the heat of the summer in hotter areas they kind of look their worst, where the leaves will kind of be smaller and there won't be a lot going on. But near cooler coastal areas, especially in California, like you see here, this plant looks great, and everything about it is looking good during the middle of summer. The flowers tend to happen in the spring, so early spring, late winter is when I've seen them in our area anyway. So I think in design the best thing to do with these is to use them again as a specimen. I'm going to include some companion plants, but I like this kind of standalone feature here where they're used with a low ground cover so that the sculptural aspects of the plant can kind of take over and it can be a show of its own. I'm not sure about deer tolerance on this one, and in terms of water, they are fairly drought tolerant actually. They perform a lot like most succulents. They store water in their stems and in their leaves. So once established, I believe these can take some very low water conditions. They like well-drained soil like most succulents do. And also full sun. I've seen these in part sun. I think if you're going to have these in hot inland areas, well actually my client hers were in full sun in a very hot inland valley, so these can take full sun even in hotter areas. And I think that's about what I can tell you on these. The flowers apparently occur on older stems, and once a stem has flowered, that stem will die. There's a few other plants that behave that way, so you're going to want to cut that stem off once it's flowered, because otherwise it's going to die on its own. But you can see here there's a lot of stems on this plant, so if you were to lose a few, it wouldn't be the end of the world. And again, if you cut these back somewhat, they will branch lower, they will branch out from where you've cut them. And that is Aeonium arboreum Atropurpureum. And very unique plant. Looks kind of like it belongs underwater, but beautiful succulent if you're able to use that in your area. And here are some nice companion choices to go along with it. Enjoy.